Look around you. Everyone's talking, scrolling, dreaming, complaining, but nobody's moving. Nobody's building. And that's why 99% stay broke, lost, and invisible. The next 6 months can either break you or make you unrecognizable. The difference? What you choose to do starting today. Distraction is the disease-killing modern ambition. The average man wakes up and the first thing he does is check his phone. Notifications, memes, gossip, nonsense. His mind is already hijacked before he's even stood up. The successful don't operate like that. Rich people don't spend their time scrolling, commenting, or debating online. They're not obsessed with other people's lives. They're obsessed with their own mission. The real players of this world cut off every single thing that pulls them away from focus. Distractions aren't entertainment, they're chains. And those chains are keeping men weak, poor, and undisciplined. 6 months of pure, undiluted focus can change everything, but people can't focus for 6 minutes. They can't go a single day without dopamine hits. Netflix, YouTube, group chats, TikTok. Every click is a transaction, and the price is your future. The world is set up to keep you average. It feeds you endless comfort, endless noise, endless things to waste your energy on. But rich people see the matrix for what it is. They don't just cut off distractions, they weaponize their focus. When they sit down to work, it's war. There's no background music, no tabs open, no checking the phone every 5 minutes. It's just execution. You want to transform your life in 6 months? Start by deleting 90% of what's on your phone. Stop replying to people who have no ambition. Cut off the friends who are still partying on weekends, still talking about other people's lives, still moving in circles while claiming they're grinding. That's not grinding. That's delusion. A focused man is rare, and rare men are always powerful. The ones who build empires don't waste energy on gossip or drama. They go dark, they go silent, and they go hard. Every app on your phone, every message you respond to, every hour spent consuming instead of creating, it all adds up. And it's stealing from you. Rich people protect their energy like their life depends on it. Because it does. The man who masters focus controls time. He bends it to his will. That's how you do more in 6 months than most people do in 6 years. You remove every ounce of nonsense, no social media binging, no mindless content, no scrolling until your brain is mush. You cut the noise, you get clear, you wake up, and your calendar is filled with only 2 things: building your mind and building your value. Distraction is easy, focus is hard. That's why it's profitable. That's why it pays, because very few can do it. And the world will do everything it can to pull you off track. You'll be tempted to check, tempted to slack, tempted to take a break that turns into a detour. But 6 months of ruthless discipline destroys excuses. You become a ghost to the world and a machine to your craft. You eat, sleep, train, work, and repeat. While others are distracted, you're stacking skills. While they binge watch, you build. While they react, you create. It's not glamorous, it's not fun. But neither is being broke, forgotten, or average. The harsh truth is most men aren't distracted, they're just afraid of facing themselves. So they hide in dopamine and noise and constant stimulation. But that 6-month window of isolation where you say no to everything and yes only to purpose, that's where the change happens. You don't need more time, you need more focus. You need less entertainment, less scrolling, less fake urgency. You need silence, solitude, and structure. Because when the distractions are gone, there's nowhere left to run. And that's when the real transformation begins. Your environment either builds you or breaks you. It shapes your thoughts, fuels your habits, and controls your energy. Most people stay stuck because they live in weak environments, physically, mentally, socially. Their room is a mess, their schedule is chaos. They surround themselves with losers who talk about success but never chase it. They hang out with people who hate discipline, mock ambition, and treat comfort like a lifestyle. That environment is poison, and you can't build a champion mindset in a cage filled with excuses, drama, and mediocrity. Rich people know this. They don't just upgrade their homes and cars, they upgrade their environment to support their rise. You want to change your life in 6 months? Change your surroundings first. Your bedroom isn't just a place to sleep, it's the launch pad of your next 6 months. Clean it. Organize it. Make your bed like a soldier. Every time you walk into your room, it should remind you that you're building something. Your kitchen isn't just a place to eat. It's where you fuel your mind and body. Get rid of junk. Stock it with what serves your goal. That desk where you work, It shouldn't have junk mail and soda cans. It should look like a war room, a space of clarity, purpose, and discipline. But even more powerful than physical space is your social space. The people around you will either gas you up or drag you down. You've got to start cutting people off, not because you hate them, because they no longer fit the direction you're going. If your so-called friends laugh at your goals, clown your dreams, or keep inviting you to waste time, they're not your allies, they're anchors. Rich people don't waste time convincing others to believe in them. They disappear, level up, and reappear with results. You need people who are hungrier than you, people who challenge you, push you, and don't let you slip. That's the kind of environment that fuels transformation. Energy is everything, and the people you allow into your space bring energy. Negative energy, lazy energy, desperate energy, get rid of it. Stop picking up calls from people who only want to gossip. Stop entertaining texts from people who never add value. This isn't arrogance, it's survival. If you're serious about going all in for 6 months, you don't have room for energy leaks. Every conversation, every interaction, every minute must be accounted for. Build an environment where excellence is normal, where laziness is uncomfortable, where complaining isn't allowed. That's how rich people stay sharp. They stay in rooms that demand their best. Even the content you consume is part of your environment. Most people are drowning in useless information. They spend hours watching people win but never do anything with that knowledge. If it doesn't make you stronger, smarter, or richer, stop feeding your brain with it. Switch from entertainment to education, from noise to clarity, from distractions to direction. Curate your world like your life depends on it, because it does. When you build the right environment, your mindset levels up automatically. You're not fighting resistance every day. You wake up already aligned with your mission. You don't have to force motivation. It surrounds you. That's what rich people do. They design their environment to make success the default. It's not about willpower. It's about structure. You can be the most disciplined person in the world, but if your environment is garbage, you will lose. And the average person never figures this out. That's why they keep restarting, keep slipping, keep wondering why things never change. It's not them. It's their setup. You can't fly in a cage. You want change? Then design your life like your future depends on it. Rich people move different because they think different. It's not luck, it's not genetics, it's mindset. The average person operates from a place of survival, just getting by, doing what's required, trying to avoid failure. Rich people operate from a place of domination, how to win, how to scale, how to build something unbreakable. That's the separation. Same 24 hours, same world, different operating systems. You change your mindset, you change your life. But here's the problem. Most people never escape the average mindset because they've been programmed to believe mediocrity is normal. They've been trained to think big dreams are unrealistic, that struggle is noble, that being comfortable is the goal. That's the trap. Rich people reprogram their mind daily. Every thought is filtered through a lens of growth. They don't complain, they solve. They don't avoid pressure, they seek it. They know that if life feels easy, you're probably losing. The average person avoids discomfort at all costs. They're addicted to comfort, and that addiction destroys their potential. Rich people lean into discomfort. They know that the struggle is where the growth lives. If your mindset can't handle pain, failure, rejection, or isolation, you'll never rise above average. That's the battlefield of your own mind. Discipline isn't motivation. Rich people don't wait to feel inspired. They execute whether they feel like it or not. Their mindset is wired for results. Wake up early, train the body, manage the time, invest the money, build the brand, stay silent, keep the vision tight. Average people wait for permission. Rich people give themselves orders. They don't care about how hard it is. They're obsessed with progress. The average mindset is emotional. I don't feel like it today. It's not fair. I'll try tomorrow. Rich mindset is logical. Is this action aligned with my goal? If yes, do it. If no, cut it. Simple, ruthless, effective. Fear is another area where mindset separates the winners from the weak. The average person fears failure, fears judgment, fears risk. Rich people fear regret. That shift changes everything. When you fear staying the same more than you fear failing, you start taking action. When you fear mediocrity more than embarrassment, you move different. That's why rich people move fast. They know clarity comes from action, not sitting around overthinking. The average person dies slowly, waiting for the right moment. Rich people create it. The rich mindset sees time as the most valuable currency, not money, not attention, time. They don't waste hours scrolling, gossiping, watching drama. Every second is accounted for. Their mindset is sharp because they protect it. No unnecessary conversations, no exposure to negativity, no association with weakness. They build mental fortresses around their purpose. Meanwhile, the average person consumes garbage all day and wonders why they feel lost, anxious, unmotivated. Garbage in, garbage out. You want a high-level mindset? Then you need high-level inputs. Books, mentors, pain, challenges, silence, action. That's what builds mental armor. Even the way rich people view problems is different. The average person sees problems as signs to stop. Rich people see them as puzzles to solve. They get excited by pressure because pressure produces diamonds. You'll never meet a rich person who didn't suffer, who didn't bleed, who didn't crawl through failure after failure. The difference is they never gave up. Their mindset was programmed for endurance. Quitting's not an option. They understand that every test is shaping them, carving them into someone who can hold the life they want. That's the code. That's what separates the few from the many. Mindset is everything. It dictates your actions, your habits, your standards, your destiny. Rich people win not because they were born different, but because they became different. They trained their mind to be unshakable, to be focused, to be dangerous. And that transformation is available to anyone, but only if you're willing to kill the average mindset inside you and build something superior. The problem with most people is they chase 100 things and catch none. Rich people, they go all in on one path, one goal, one obsession. This is not by accident, it's strategy. Success isn't about being busy, it's about being focused, razor sharp, tunnel vision. That's how the rich separate themselves from the herd. While everyone else is trying to balance, multitask, and keep options open, rich people burn the boats. They pick a direction, shut the door to everything else, and go full throttle. This level of focus is rare because it's uncomfortable. You can't scroll social media all day. You can't say yes to every hangout. You can't waste time in drama. You have to cut. You have to say no. You have to be ruthless with your time, energy, and circle. Rich people treat their focus like a weapon. They don't let distractions near it. They don't tolerate things that don't align with their mission. That's what makes them dangerous. The average person thinks focus is just about productivity, but it's deeper than that. It's about identity. When you commit to something fully, you become someone new. You operate differently. Your standard rises, your circle shifts, your habits sharpen. Most people are half in, half out. One foot chasing goals, the other stuck in comfort. That mindset guarantees failure. You can't build an empire with hesitation. Rich people commit with their chest. No backup plan. No safety net. They're willing to risk everything because they believe in what they're building. That belief doesn't come from hype or fake confidence. It comes from hours of grinding, from doing the work when no one is watching. You can't fake that. You can't fake results. And you won't get results if you're only giving half your energy. Every time you allow distractions in, whether it's toxic people, cheap entertainment, or useless habits, you dilute your power. You scatter your focus, you weaken your momentum. Rich people understand momentum is everything. Once it's built, they guard it with their life. They design their entire routine around maintaining it. Wake up early, train the body, focus on business, read, think, execute. No fluff, no wasted motion. Everything they do serves the mission. Even their rest is calculated, used to recharge for more war. The world is noisy. Everyone's screaming for your attention. Algorithms are built to hijack your mind. But here's the harsh truth. If you can't control your focus, someone else will. If you're not building your vision, you're helping someone else build theirs. That's how most people live. Distracted, reactive, enslaved by dopamine hits. Rich people unplug from that nonsense. They build environments that sharpen them. They stay away from weak minds. They eliminate excuses before they form. This isn't discipline. It's lifestyle. It's standard. Focus requires sacrifice. You're going to miss parties. You're going to lose friends. You're going to be misunderstood. But that's the price of elevation. You don't get to be exceptional and accepted at the same time. The rich know this. They're not chasing popularity. They're chasing freedom. And they understand that freedom comes after focus, not before. The average person wants freedom without sacrifice, without clarity, without grind. That delusion keeps them broke, bored, and bitter. But the few who are willing to lock in, cut the distractions, and give 6 months of obsession, they change everything. Focus is the multiplier. It's the reason some people win while everyone else just watches. You master it and the world bends. You lose it and the world owns you. Rich people understand that time is their most valuable asset. They treat every minute like gold because they know once it's gone forever. They don't let time slip through their fingers like the average person does. They aren't wasting hours binge-watching TV shows, mindlessly scrolling, or sitting around talking about what they might do someday. Every second is accounted for. Every task has a purpose. That's the mentality that builds wealth and influence. While others are sleeping in or procrastinating, successful people are up early, building momentum, before the world even wakes up. Time management isn't about filling your schedule with random tasks, it's about maximizing output. Rich people structure their days to extract the most value out of every hour. They eliminate fluff. They delegate what doesn't move the needle. They don't spend 2 hours doing something a $10.00 assistant could handle. They keep their hands and minds free for the big moves, the strategic plays that create exponential returns. Most people are stuck in the weeds because they're too lazy or too proud to outsource. Rich people understand leverage. Their time is too expensive to waste on things that don't matter. This obsession with time translates into how they live. You won't catch high-value people wasting weekends or losing days recovering from bad decisions. They don't party their lives away or sleep 10 hours a night. They optimize their routine to stay sharp, consistent, and productive. Every morning there's a plan. Every night there's reflection. They treat their calendar like a war map. Every block of time is intentional. Every appointment has purpose. They aren't reactive. They run their day, it doesn't run them. Most people are broke because they're too generous with their time. They give it away to anyone who asks. They waste it entertaining nonsense. They let emotions hijack it. They think they have unlimited time, so they waste the present chasing cheap distractions. Rich people know better. They know every hour they waste is an hour someone else is using to get ahead. That sense of urgency is what fuels their hustle. They don't wait for motivation. They don't wait for the right time. They execute now because tomorrow isn't promised and opportunities don't wait. The discipline of mastering time extends beyond business. It shows up in how they train their bodies, how they control their energy, how they invest in learning. They read when others are gossiping. They think when others are complaining. They strategize while others zone out. That's the edge. Rich people are playing chess on the clock, while average people are stuck on checkers with no timer. You see, success is not just about what you do. It's about how fast, how focused, and how consistent you can do it. Time makes that possible. Time gives you the compound effect. Small actions repeated relentlessly over time, building to massive results, but only if you use it. And let's not forget, rich people protect their time with boundaries. They say no, a lot. They're not afraid to cut off energy vampires, small talk, and distractions in human form. They don't explain themselves to people who don't get it. They guard their schedule like a fortress because they know time is the currency of power. You give it to the wrong people and you lose control of your life. But if you own your time, you own your future. That's the mindset that separates the winners from the watchers. That's how you take 6 months and create momentum most people won't see in 6 years. The clock is ticking either way. Use it like the rich do. Relentlessly, intelligently, and with zero apologies. Rich people don't just chase goals. They become the type of person who attracts those goals. They understand that success is not about what you do occasionally, but who you become consistently. Their entire life is built on self-discipline, routine, standards, and vision. When they want to level up, they don't rely on motivation or hype. They transform their identity. They become obsessed with building a version of themselves that can handle wealth, power, and pressure. That's the game, the internal shift. The mindset, the habits, the principles. It's not about doing more, it's about becoming more. When an average person tries to improve their life, they focus on tactics, read a book, watch a video, try a morning routine. But rich people play it differently. They think in terms of identity. They ask, what kind of man earns millions? What kind of man leads? What kind of man commands respect? And then they work day and night to become that man. It's internal first, the external comes later. That's the foundation of transformation. You want a different life? You build a different self. Period. The current version of you is only capable of creating the life you currently have. If you want more, you have to upgrade. They do this through relentless self-discipline. They strip out weakness, physical, mental, and emotional. They stop negotiating with excuses. They eliminate self-doubt. They don't need permission to be great. They decide to become it, and then they back it up with action, day after day. Their identity is reinforced by what they do when no one's watching, waking up early, training hard, investing time in learning, saying no to distractions, showing up even when it's hard. These acts build internal pride. Confidence doesn't come from talking. It comes from keeping promises to yourself. That's what they do every single day. They also adopt powerful internal narratives. They don't think like victims. They don't blame circumstances. They see every setback as a test of character. When things go wrong, they don't collapse. They adapt. They evolve. They treat failure as feedback and pain as fuel. This mindset doesn't come naturally. It's built through struggle. Rich people embrace the pain. They lean into it because they know it forges strength. You don't build a powerful identity in comfort. You build it by going to war with your weakness every single day and refusing to surrender. Another thing they do is control their environment. They surround themselves with energy that aligns with their vision. If someone drains them, they cut them off. If something distracts them, they remove it. They know you become what you tolerate. So they tolerate nothing that dilutes their power. They structure their lives to reflect who they are becoming, not who they were. They design routines, habits, and daily rituals that serve their future self. Most people wait to feel ready. Rich people act their way into readiness. They become the man first, and the results follow. They stay silent during this transformation. They don't brag about what they're working on. They let success speak. They protect their energy, guard their focus, and keep building. People don't even notice the change until one day the results are too big to ignore. That's how the game is played, not by talking louder, but by evolving deeper. And once they become that upgraded version, everything changes. Money, influence, respect, confidence. Not because they forced the world to give it to them, but because they became the kind of man the world gives it to automatically. This is how rich people truly level up. They understand the harsh truth. If your identity stays the same, your life stays the same. You can't fake greatness. You either build it from the ground up or you stay average. The path is simple but brutal. Break the old self, build the new one. Every day, every rep, every hard choice is a brick in the foundation. You keep laying them until the world has no choice but to see what you've become. That's not just self-improvement, that's self-mastery. That's how rich people move and why average people stay stuck. If you want to change your life, stop chasing shortcuts and start transforming yourself. The money, power, and respect don't come to someone who wants them. They come to someone who becomes the person who deserves them. Rich people don't wait around hoping things get better. They don't play the victim. They don't beg for opportunities. They create them. They build a version of themselves so disciplined, so focused, so unbreakable that success becomes inevitable. Your results are just a reflection of your identity. Upgrade that and the world has no choice but to respond. Ghost the noise, silence the distractions, and lock in. 6 months of ruthless self-discipline can put you years ahead, but only if you commit. Go all in and never look back.